Welcome back in Chatterbox Reds. I'm joined by Craig Sandlin tonight. We are the weekend voice this weekend. We are hoping to cheer on Emilio Pagan to a 5-2 win here. Hopefully, he can close the door, not have a shaky situation like we had last night. Let's do it with a little bit of ease here and call it a day. What do you say, Craig?
Yeah, nice and easy. 1, 2, 3. Keep it simple, and let's get out of here. Win a series to start the second half. Series that I don't think many people watching this show or listening to the show expected the Reds to come away with a series win. So if you can steal one here, definitely going to take it.
I want my reason to get my broom out on a Sunday. Let's go.
Emilio Pagan in for the bottom of the ninth. He faces Torrens, Nimmo, and Lindor. First pitch in for a strike. How's your weekend going so far? I know it's Saturday, but anything?
Not too bad.
Plans?
Yeah, I've actually got to play DD tonight. My wife's at a birthday party and with one of her friends. Happy birthday, Ernie. So I'm drinking water tonight and playing DD for the wife. So, there goes a shot up the middle of the field. Torrens makes a big turn, but holds it first. Leadoff single.
Is Pagan turning into a little bit like like Alexis Diaz and just making every save a memorable one? Like
he's keeping the running joke going. Will the tying run come to the plate?
Yeah. So back to the top for the Mets. Man. Reds with a 5-2 lead here. Would like to avoid anybody else getting on base and allowing that tying run to come to the plate. But how about we get a little recap of the eighth inning and we get a double play here?
I love that. Let's roll over one row here. Come on, kid. What about you, buddy? Any plans tonight?
Nothing tonight. We'll see about tomorrow. I don't have anything going on tomorrow, so maybe we'll get in the pool for a little bit, relax. It's been super hot here in Memphis, so anything to cool down, we'll take.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Ooh, good 1-1 fastball. A little on the inside there, 2-1. Come on, Pagan. I feel like he needs this for a momentum, from a momentum standpoint.
Yeah, I've got Pagan on my fantasy team, and even last night comes in, gives up 2 base runners, and then only records 1 out. So I lose points. I need him to pick up some points for me here.
Yeah,
get a nice working both ways for you. A couple outs.
Come on, kid.
There you go.
There we go. All right. Be nice to keep Nemo's speed off a base path too. That guy's scary when he's on base.
Well, luckily he's going to have Torrens in front of him, so he's not going to be able to do a whole lot. But certainly don't want to let him on base and then let him score on a double or something like that. And
here it comes. The tying run comes to the plate. Come on, bud. Come on.
Nimmo walks.
Yep.
Francisco Lindor to the plate. Lindor so far this series, the Reds have avoided a whole lot of damage outside of the, but we'll see if Pagan can get in out.
Yep. Lindor, Soto, Alonso. I don't like the look of that. So a big double play ball here would be real nice. Come on, kid.
Yeah, Lindor yesterday 0 for 5 so far today, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. So
let's keep it that way.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah. Big 1-1 pitch. Ooh. Smoked it down the right field line for a foul ball. Ooh, long strike.
Sit
Sam
down,
Mole. Yeah, I know. Sam Mole warming in the bullpen. Let's hope we don't have to do that. Yeah. Come on. One, two on the outside. 2-2. We got no place to put him. Come on. I mean, you do got third base open, I guess, but still.
I'm not trying to face Juan Soto with the bases loaded with a 3-run lead.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh.
All right, Pagan. Give me a fastball up out of the zone, make him chase here, and let's go.
Yep. Take advantage of his eagerness of wanting to be the hero. Come on.
Yep.
Yeah, David Wright night did not help anything as far as having to face a hostile ballpark.
Yeah. Back-to-back sellout crowds for the Mets. As you know, everybody wants to come see the Reds when they come to town.
I'm going to try to Elly. Come on. Big 3-2 pitch. Runners
Full
on
count
first
to
and second.
Lindor.
Come on, kid.
The pitch. Rope to first base. Fielded by Steer. He throws
play
to
by
second.
Steer.
Back to first.
play by
Not in
Steer, left
time.
Almost had it. What a big play by Spencer Steer. Man. That guy has been absolute rocks at first base, man. I love it.
So it'll go down as a fielder's choice for Lindor, 3-6. Elly's throw back to first, not in time, unable to turn the double play, but a
Emilio
big
thought
out
he had
there.
it. Yeah, he was definitely safe. Whew. Huge out.
And Torrens does advance to third, but that run really does not matter.
Yeah.
The only run that matters is Juan Soto, who steps to the plate now with 1 out and runners on first and third.
Another
Soto,
offer. We need to keep going.
Yep. Soto's not nearly as fast as Lindor, so get a similar ground ball and then turn the double play this time.
Come on, Emilio.
Ball 1 down.
I kind of like the long pause there, though. He made him sit on it and think about it for a second. Come on, Emilio.
Yep. Soto 0 for 3 with a walk today, 2 strikeouts. Struck out looking in the first, then swinging in the 7th against Santillan. Swings at a fastball in the inside corner, fouls it back. 1-1. Career versus Emilio Pagan for Juan Soto, 2 for 2 with a double, a home run, and 2 RBI. Big at bat right here for the Reds closer.
Time for that streak to come to an end.
Cutter misses down 2-1. Again, Torrens on third, Lindor at first. Soto at the plate, the 2-1. Almost hit him.
Almost
down and
got it.
in, 3-1 now. You don't really want to put him on base because you got Pete Alonso following. So
This better be a
go after him here.
Better be a well-placed pitch. Come on, Emilio. Big pitch.
Soto calls timeout at the last second.
Come on, Emilio. Make him pay for it. Roll over one here.
Takes
Good
a spinner
pitch.
right down the middle. 3-2 full count. Do you start Lindor here?
Yeah. I mean, if you're trying to get that second run in and put the pressure on, you might as well. Yeah, that's not been a throwing out base runners has not been a strength of ours, so I probably would push it.
Ooh.
Oh, what was that?
Stephenson at the last second there
okay.
went to call time. Pagan was already in his motion, but home plate umpire Manny Gonzalez granted time anyway.
Whew.
Reds, I don't know, get a little bit of a break there, but also just clear miscommunication there. Whew. Show the replay now.
Wow,
that timing was really
that was
Manny
bad.
Gonzalez granting that time was.
He granted that one really late. I'm surprised that went through.
Yep.
Definitely caught a break because it was high for ball 4. So let's make a pitch here. Come on, Emilio.
Yep.
Big payoff right here.
All right. Pagan back on the mound. 3-2 to Soto.
Come on, Emilio.
Fouled away.
Fouled away.
Tell you what, though, you can't give Soto a whole lot of those middle pitches. That's back-to-back cutters that he's left right over the middle of the plate. I know you're behind with 3 balls, but would be nice to place those a little bit better rather than leaving them right there over the middle of the plate for Juan Soto.
You give him too many to look at, he'll definitely make you pay for it. Come on, kid. Uh-oh.
Driven deep to right field. And
oh my gosh.
Foul.
That's as close as you're gonna get.
I have my TV muted, so I literally didn't know if that was fair or foul.
Cow, that was a foul ball.
The response of the fans finally gave it away after a couple of seconds that ball curved just foul at the last minute. Otherwise, we'd be looking at a tie baseball game.
Whew.
Soto gave that one a ride.
Come on, kid. Make that long strike.
Pagan went with the high fastball. They are going to do a crew chief review here, but this one should be quick. They just showed a replay right down the line. That was fairly obvious to me that this was a foul ball. So they'll take a look at it just to make sure, but this one's going to be confirmed as a foul ball. Showing a slowed down replay again, and you can see that ball cross in front of the foul pole, which from that angle is what you're looking for.
We'll take it.
Will indeed be confirmed a foul ball. So Soto, after a deep scare to right field, will step back in for yet another 3-2 payoff pitch from Emilio Pagan. Pagan looking to get his 21st save of the season, establishing a new career high. The Mets, runners on first and third, 5-2 Reds, bottom of the 9th. Full count pitch. Here's comes Soto. Check swing.
He went. Let's go.
He
went. Go.
Soto doesn't like the call, but third base umpire
strikeout
rings him up. Says that he went.
I love it.
Alex Tosi said that Juan Soto swung. And the replay shows it was close. That's the best I can say. It was close.
Wow.
So Pagan gets a huge strikeout of Juan Soto. But the threat is not over.
Here comes the polar bear.
Polar bear Pete. Pete Alonso already showing off his power a couple times today. Been jammed on a couple pitches that he's found a way to put out into the warning track. First pitch is a 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Pagan that Alonso fouls straight back. Alonso 1 for 4 on the day. He singled in the first, struck out in the 7th. Did fly out to left field in the 3rd. Ground ball out in the 5th. Pagan looking here to erase Alonso for the 3rd time on the day. That splitter is inside, 1-1.
Pitch count starting to get up there. That was pitch 25. So
yeah,
the quicker we can get out of this, the better.
Yeah, back-to-back outings for Pagan. So you have to imagine he's not going to be available tomorrow. You use Santion tonight as well. Doesn't mean that he won't be available tomorrow, but you did use him. Graham Ashcraft with back-to-back
long ride, fly ball to right field. Fraley's under it. Let's go. Big win. 5-2 your Cincinnati Reds pull off the victory over the New York Mets. And Craig and I are going to be back on the other side of this for the podcast version. Let's do a show, Craig.
Let's go.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the wall, Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! Reds win! Line to right field. Genius, the first run ever. With 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the 2nd time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the 2nd player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream to get into the career of Jay Bruce.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into another winning edition of Chatterbox Reds, proudly sponsored by Deep South Commodities. Thanks for joining us today on your daily home for Cincinnati Reds content all season long. I'm Corey Phillips. I'm joined today by the one, the only Craig Sandlin. Craig, give me your thoughts on a big day at the ballpark, brother. Nick Martinez had a little bit of struggles there early, but we're able to pull off our 4th straight win, 6 out of our last 7. Feeling pretty good coming out of the All-Star break. What were your thoughts on today's game?
Look, it wasn't the prettiest game that the Reds have played all year, but you're certainly not going to turn down a 5-2 victory over the Mets. Certainly not going to turn down 4 straight victories. And, Nick Martinez certainly seemed to struggle a little bit early on, but found his groove over the last 3 innings of his outing. And this Reds offense did enough to give the Reds a win. And that's all that really matters is, they took the series from the Mets, a series that I, for one, and I'm sure many others listening and watching to this podcast, weren't necessarily expecting the Reds to have an opportunity to sweep on Sunday, but here we are. They take the first 2 from the Mets, and wasn't the prettiest game, but we take it nonetheless.
Absolutely. I mean, you're beating the team with the best record in baseball at home. So anytime you can get that done, felt really good getting off the schneid yesterday, keeping the streak alive, being the only team that hasn't been swept. Well, now it looks like we might be doing the sweeping on a victorious Sunday, and it's going to be what is already a great weekend is going to be a really good weekend after we get it done again tomorrow. But you got a box score recap, man? Letting people know what happened today.
Let's do it. Box score recap, as always, brought to you by Nicholas Kirby. Reds looking to start the second half with a series win in New York as they visit the Mets on Saturday. Nick Martinez on the mound for the Reds, facing Clay Holmes for the Mets. Martinez allowed 3 singles in the first inning, including an RBI single by Mark Vientos, but would leave the bases loaded, and the Reds trailed 1-0 early. Brett Beatty took Martinez's first pitch of the second inning deep to right field for a solo home run and a 2-0 Mets lead. After Jake Fraley laced a double down the right field line and Tylor Marte was hit by a pitch, A throwing error on an attempted pickoff by Mets catcher Luis Torrens allowed Fraley to score and Marte to advance to third. Marte would then score on a single by Matt McLain, and the score was tied at 2 apiece after the third. In the fourth, Austin Hayes led off the inning with a walk before advancing to third on a Tyler Stephenson single to center field. A single to center scored Hayes and gave the Reds a 3-2 lead. Hayes would score again in the sixth on a Tyler Stephenson fielder's choice. Then Fraley would add his second double of the day, scoring Stephenson to make it 5-2. Nick Martinez would settle in after allowing 2 runs in the first 2 innings. After the home run to lead off the second, he retired 8 straight and allowed only 3 base runners over his final 3 innings. His final line on the day, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Scott Barlow worked out of a bases-loaded jam in the bottom of the 6th after 2 walks from Taylor Rogers and a walk from Barlow. Tony Santillan struck out the side in a perfect 7th. Graham Ashcraft retired the side in order in the 8th, and then Emilio Pagan made it a little interesting in the 9th, but got Juan Soto to strike out on a check swing, and Pete Alonso flew out to right field to secure the win. Final score, 5-2. Reds improved to 52-47, 5 games over 500.
5 games over 500 for the first time this year. Man, that's got a really nice ring to it. It's hard not to rub your eye in the optimism train right now, man. This is definitely exciting times when you come in and beat a team like New York with that star-studded lineup and getting it done two nights in a row. It's absolutely exciting. But getting into the DSC deep drive of the game, we did not have any home runs today, which actually had me kind of excited. It's nice to know that the Reds can win like we did last night, where we got a barrage of home runs, but also get it done when we do it. We can also get it done when we don't have the long ball there at our discretion. So I was kind of excited about that. But for our DSC deep drive of the day, we're going to have to go with our hardest hit ball of the game. It was Tyler Stephenson's single in the top of the 4th, 107.9 miles per hour off the bat. It did travel 312 feet for a single, so that traveled pretty far for a single, so we'll take that. But Ty Stephenson's 107.9 mile an hour single is your DSC deep drive of the game. Our deep drive of the day is sponsored by Deep South Commodities. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. And thanks as always to our friends at DSC. So from a rundown standpoint, man, I got a couple things we could talk about. I've got Martinez battles after two early runs. He was able to settle down and battle back and gave us exactly what we needed, especially with our bullpen usage being what it was. So it was nice to see Martinez battle through that. Jake Fraley had an absolute ball game tonight. Even on his only out, he smoked one to first base. So about his final stat line is 3 for 4, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, 5 total bases, scored a run. So Jake Fraley is most definitely on the rundown tonight because he had a whale of a ball game. And last but not least, Taylor Rogers owes Scotty Barlow the biggest steak dinner, but he owes Scotty Barlow, Santillan, and Ashcraft a big steak dinner because he got us into a little bit of a mess there, and our guys were able to get us out of it. So that's kind of what I've got from a rundown standpoint, man. Give me your thoughts on Nick Martinez to start.
Well, look, we'll start with Martinez. I mean, it's interesting because when he does get his starts, it feels like early on he struggles and then kind of finds his way into his groove. He did it again last time out against Colorado on July 13th. He went 5 1/3 of 5 hit, 2 runs. Both of those runs came early as well. You'd certainly like to see him figure it out and be able to start a little bit better. But at the end of the day, I guess the question becomes, what do you need out of Nick Martinez? And we got some injury updates today during the show that we'll get into a little bit later on as well. But at the end of the day, Nick Martinez, if you can get 5 innings of 2-run baseball out of him every time he goes out there, it's hard to say that you would turn that down. I mean, it's not blow you away stuff, but at the same time, he's given you enough to win a ball game, and it's showing. I mean, again, not perfect, but yet here we are. His last 7 games, he's 4-1, but he's got an ERA of 5.18. I mean, it just at this point, it feels like you just got to take what you can get from him and hope that your offense gives you enough to eke it out. But the question becomes, of course, as the season progresses. Hunter Green obviously going to make a rehab start in Arizona. What does the future for Nick Martinez look like? Because there's some out there, I'm sure, that want to trade him. There's some out there that have talked about trading Nick Lodolo. But at this point, do you have enough depth in your starting pitching rotation to be able to do that? And maybe those are the pieces that you put together to go out and get a starting pitcher and replace them. But at this point, until you get guys like Carson Spires back and Hunter Green back, I just don't know where Nick Martinez fits in unless there's a way to work the schedule to only have 4 guys start. But he's going to have to continue to give you outings. And at this point, I think 5 innings and 2 runs is about as much as you can ask for out of him. And if that's what you can get, then I think you have to take it.
I think you're absolutely right. And Nick Martinez is kind of our jack of all trades right now. He's kind of been able to do whatever we need him to do, whether it's bullpen appearances or that sort of thing. So it's nice to have that jack of all trades. That makes his trade value a little bit higher, if nothing else. But it's almost to the point now where you're getting solid numbers. You're getting solid numbers out of him, time in and time out. And we're in most of the ball games that he's pitching. And so, that's where you make a move to put Nick Martinez to have our other arm coming out, have another arm coming out of the bullpen to give yourself bullpen depth if we do add a starting pitcher? Or do you, like you say, put Nick Martinez into a trade package to add it? There's definitely a guessing game there, and I'm glad I'm not the one that has to make the decision, because that's hard to do. It's hard. He's a fan favorite. He's one of those guys that doesn't always look the prettiest, but he's going to give you his best outing all the time, and the guy constantly looks like he's having fun on the mound. So it's hard not to be a fan of Nick Martinez, but by the same token, there's going to have to be some tough decisions made as far as what's best for the Cincinnati Reds ball club and where Nick Martinez fits into that situation.
Yeah, look, your rotation right now, Lodolo, Martinez, Abbott, Singer, and Burns. I think for now that's your best rotation. That's what you have. But your injured list, you've got Hunter Green, you've got Wade Miley, you've got Rhett Lauder, Carson Spires, all who potentially could return this season. Rhett Lauder is maybe iffy if you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, but we just heard during the broadcast that he's going to start a throwing program next week. So it's hard to say. And then, of course, you've got guys at AAA like Chase Petty, who have come out and made starts. You've got Sam Ben-Shoder, Brian Van Bell, who I know Nick has talked about a lot on this show in terms of options out of the AAA depth chart right now. But at least in my eyes, Martinez and his 5 innings, 2 runs is probably about as predictable as you can get in this rotation. And I think I'd much rather take the 5 innings, 2 runs from Martinez than take the risk of a Chase Petty and having the blow ups that we've seen from him. You know, Martinez, outside of the one outing against Miami where he gave up 10 runs. And again, that was an outing where Tito just let him in there to eat the innings because it was over so early. Nick Martinez has been serviceable, I guess, but he's giving up runs almost every single outing. I mean, looking back, I think in terms of games he started, he's only had 1 outing where he didn't give up a run. And then he had obviously the great outing against San Diego where he went 8 innings, 1 hit. But outside of that, I mean, his starts going backwards, 2 runs, 2 runs, 10 runs, 4 runs, 1 run, 7 runs, 4 runs. So, you know, he's going to give up the runs. You just have to hope that your offense picks them up. And so far they've been able to do that and keep his win-loss record a little bit more manageable than maybe what his numbers would indicate they should be. 8-9 now, 8-9 now on the year with a 4.73 ERA. I don't know. I don't know what you possibly expect to get in return for Nick Martinez, if I'm being honest. Like 1-year contract, serviceable starter, but he's certainly not a stud by any means. So just kind of a question of what the Reds are able to get in return for him. Maybe he's part of a bigger package, but I don't know. Nick Lodolo seems to be the bigger trade target at this point for many. If they are going to make a move, Nick Lodolo seems to be more likely to be the centerpiece of that, given his controllable contract in higher upside, quite frankly. So I don't know. I don't want to get into too much of the trade deadline already. We still have 12 days until we get there, but
right.
Nonetheless, Nick Martinez is going to have 1, maybe 2 starts between now and then to try and drive his value up. And if he can't do it, then hard to imagine him going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that one, especially if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of deal. But by the same token, if somebody is willing to give us what we're looking for, whether it's bullpen depth or another decent bat in the outfield, if there's a package or something that we can put together with maybe a prospect. I'm not trying to I'm on the Nick Kirby train, and not trying to blow up all of our prospects to try to go in, but it's hard not to be in an all-in standpoint when you come out and beat the New York Mets twice after the All-Star break, and we're riding high. We're 5 games over 500 for the first time this year, and it's hard not to ride the optimism train and push your chips all in. But by the same token, you've got to make controlled moves that are going to be best for this franchise without blowing up all of our prospects, because we've got some pretty exciting prospects down making really big moves down there.
Look, it'd be great to be able to sit here and say, okay, Nick Martinez is going to go to the bullpen, and you're going to get what you got out of him in the 2 outings that we got late in June, where he went 2 innings against St. Louis, a perfect baseball, an inning of perfect baseball against the Yankees. First and foremost, I just don't think you've got the depth to be able to move him to the bullpen just yet. And quite frankly, I don't know that you can rely on that kind of outing, given the fact that a majority of the damage done against Nick Martinez has been early in games. So yeah, I don't know if you move him to the bullpen and you bring him in for an inning or two, is he going to do what he did in the first 2 innings today and give up 2 runs, or is he going to do what he did in the relief appearances that he made earlier this year and go 3 perfect innings? I don't know.
Yeah, man, absolutely. You bring up a great point, as far as you just never know exactly which arm you're going to get out of him. So does that derail his trade value a little bit? And is there a package with somebody else that we could possibly put together? As much as it hurts my heart to want to get rid of Nick Lodolo, there's going to have to be tough decisions made, like you say. But by the same token, we're riding high, man. We're trying to keep the optimism going after two straight wins. So let's Jake Fraley. I think it might have been Jake Fraley's best ball game we've seen him have in a really long time. Made an aggressive play in the outfield that kind of goes unspoken a little bit. There was a hard shot. I think it was down in the corner, and he was able to hustle down, make a hard throw in, and keep it to a single. So little plays like that in the outfield, plus having a 3-for-4 day at the plate and 5 total bases, that definitely helps out. And so it's really good, really nice to see the production come out of the right field corner, man. What did you think about Jake's day?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Jake Fraley, hit with a little bit more power, but he even without the home run power that we were hoping that we'd continue to see, he hasn't hit a home run since June 9th at this point. He's still getting on base, and he's creating havoc. I mean, 2 doubles today, the single that you talked about, plus he's playing really good defense. He's a guy that if you're facing a right-handed pitcher, it makes sense to have in your lineup every time. I was a little surprised personally that Will Benson didn't get the start in left field, going with Gavin Lux instead, and then Austin Hayes is your DH. Austin Hayes 0 for 2 today, but walked twice and scored twice. So don't want to knock Austin Hayes by any means, but Will Benson was on your bench today as a left-handed bat against a right-handed starting pitcher. But Jake Fraley, did exactly what you need out of a platoon guy. He came in to a game facing against a right-handed pitcher, and he did exactly what you want. 3-for-4, 2 RBIs, a run scored, and hit the ball pretty hard in his 4th at bat as well. That just happened to be a line out straight to the first baseman. So Jake Fraley's been giving you really good baseball. Obviously, he's going to continue to get his attempts. Seems like a guy that fits Terry Francona really well. And today was a good example. They talked about it during the broadcast of what Terry Francona baseball teams like to do. And that's wear pitchers out by racking up hits. Yes, last night they hit 4 home runs and were able to win a ball game that way. But as you mentioned, it's nice to be able to win a ball game with 8 hits and kind of pile up some runs that way too. And Jake Fraley certainly gives you the ability to stack up those hits, and did it today.
Absolutely. And it's just nice. As our ball club, we've seen so many times the other team take advantage of our mistakes. It was nice to take advantage of some of the defensive mistakes by the Mets today. There was a couple different situations. That one, the pickoff throw to first was really weird. I'm not sure what the heck, if they were trying to sneak in the second baseman behind him there, but I forget who they were picking off. I think it was Marte. He was actually standing on the base when the guy made the throw, so I'm not sure what they were trying to do there, but it was nice to take advantage of that errant throw. Then the wide throw to second on that double play where Ty Stephenson's running down the line. It was nice to be able to make that hurt. Jake Fraley comes in after that, puts up his RBI double. So taking advantage of of New York Mets mistakes is nice to see, man. It's nice to be able to put the pressure on the other team rather than the other way around.
Yeah, I have no idea what Luis Torrens was doing on that play, if I'm being honest. And the broadcast didn't show it very well. Full disclosure, it didn't show it very well. They showed the replay, and like it almost looked like he was trying to hold off on the throw after he started the throw because he threw it right into the dirt. I mean, I think, the base is 90 feet away. I think that ball might have gone 60 feet and then started to bounce its way. And then for it to get through the defender's legs is kind of crazy too. I mean, that ball, when it bounces that far ahead of you, very rarely is going to get through, and went right through the defender's legs and into right field. And yeah, it was Marte, I believe, on that they were trying to pick off after the hit by pitch. And Fraley took advantage of that and was able to score, and obviously put Marte into scoring position as well. And he was able to score on Matt McLain's single. So, without that, do the Reds win this ball game? I don't know. It's hard to say. Obviously,
not the way the momentum
later in, but that was a huge momentum shift for sure to be able to get 2 runs in that inning, 2 unearned runs at that.
Absolutely, because if you don't score those runs when those momentum biters come up in the next inning and Taylor Rogers is putting guys on, we got Pagan struggling in the 9th. It's become a whole different situation when it's a 1-run game rather than a 3-run game. So you're absolutely right. We definitely put the pressure on there. It changed the complexion of the ball game. Absolutely, because we would have been biting our nails off if it was a 1-run game in the 9th and Pagan gave up those first couple guys getting on base. So it was nice to see Jake Fraley absolutely make him pay for a couple of mistakes.
Yeah, I think Jake Fraley is a ball player, and he feels like a Tito Francona type of ball player. And certainly as long as he's healthy, I think he'll continue to get opportunities. Gavin Lux, we'll see how that continues to play out. Hard to sit Austin Hayes a day after he hits 2 home runs like he did last night. But, going up against a right-handed pitcher, you would have liked to see Will Benson have a chance. Maybe he runs into one today too. But nonetheless, Reds pick up the 5-2 win, and we move on. And I see a lot of people talking in the chat about the trade deadline and stuff like that. And, I just want to reiterate that the comments around Nick Martinez and Nick Lodolo and any other trade pieces at this point would be part of a package. And I don't necessarily think that it's about selling those players. I think it's about utilizing the talent that you have and the pieces that you have to be able to put together a package that is worthy of the type of return that this Reds team is going to need if they want to make a push into this playoffs. Because at this point, let me update the current wild card standings based on today's outcome. Reds 52-47, currently 2 games behind the San Diego Padres in the third spot in the wild card. They are the first team out at this point. San Francisco Giants and them tied with a identical 52-47 record, but obviously the Reds hold the season tiebreak over the Giants thanks to winning the series in San Francisco earlier this year. So, it's big. And again, this is a series where the Reds very easily could have gone in and either gotten swept or certainly dropped the series. And all of a sudden you're sitting 3.5, 4.5 games out of the wild card versus now, again, pending what happens with the Padres game later today, you're sitting somewhere between 1.5 and 2.5 games out. You got to be pretty happy with where you are with an opportunity tomorrow to sweep.
Absolutely. But we've got 2 or 3 of them now. We've got some super chats over here, man. I kind of want to get to these. They've been sitting over here for a little while. We've got one from RD711, and this series belongs to who? The Cincinnati Reds. The Cincinnati Reds. Absolutely. Get fired up one time. I love it. We got another one here from Max Bryant. We always appreciate the super chats, guys. Shout out to my nephew Jace, born yesterday. Reds are 2-0 since his arrival, and we may never lose again. Hey, I love it, buddy. I love it. Jace doesn't know what it's like to have that taste in his mouth, and let's try to keep it that way.
Happy birthday to Jace. This is a little bit like last year when Betty was born, and if I remember correctly, she started her life, Nick's daughter, Betty, started her life with like a 4-game winning streak too. So maybe y'all just need, everybody in the chat, just keep having babies and let's keep this winning streak going.
If nothing else, we'll populate that stadium for for a good night. That's funny. We got one more here. We got Os Pitt, I think is how you say that. He said for $4.99. We appreciate that, brother. Keep Lodolo. I am very old school as far as I love keeping my nucleus of guys together. I hate getting rid of our guys, especially when things are going well. So if I could keep absolutely everybody, I probably would, except for Taylor Rogers. I think Taylor Rogers' days are numbered, man. I when he comes out, it just absolutely makes me cringe. I was really hoping he could turn the corner today with a clean inning. Comes on, put the two left-handers he's actually brought into face, puts them on base, and it's just an absolute just mess that he creates. And thank God for Scotty Barlow coming in and making the big pitches that he did. He got a bad call on the one strikeout, and so he ends up putting that guy on base and still had enough grit to turn around and get a strikeout and a big out of Francisco Lindor. So Taylor Rogers' days are numbered as far as I'm concerned in my book, but I think he owes Scotty Barlow a big steak dinner. So I am not on board as far as trying to. I hate talking about losing our guys. We've got a good nucleus of guys right here, and it just feels like things are going well. But when it comes to Taylor Rogers, I don't think I'd miss him a day in my life, to be honest with you.
Well, look, there's been a lot of conversation about this Reds team needing to add a dominant left-handed arm out of the bullpen. I mean, at this point, again, no disrespect to Taylor Rogers or to Sam Moll, but there certainly has not been that kind of nail down left-handed reliever that they've been able to go to in situations like today, where you've got guys like Nimmo, Lindor, and Soto at the top of the lineup to be able to turn to a left-handed reliever to be able to get guys out. So there's a lot of people who think that this Reds team should go out and add a left-handed bullpen arm. And certainly Taylor Rogers feels like a guy who, if that happens, may not be part of this Reds rotation for much longer. I don't know if that plays out that way or not. You never know, but certainly Taylor Rogers has struggled to a point where he's going to force the Reds' hand at making a decision in terms of what they do with him. And I personally find it hard to believe that right now they're going to move on from him. But again, if you can go out and get one of those bullpen arms that guys are talking about as targets for the Reds, Taylor Rogers certainly makes sense as a potential DFA candidate. Now, I'm going to follow that up with he hasn't given up a run since June 20th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 outings now without giving up a run. But he just doesn't look good in any of them. And certainly for a guy who you kind of went out and got to expect to be kind of that left-handed specialist out of your bullpen, he hasn't necessarily been that. Obviously today's outing came in, walked Jeff McNeil, struck out Ronnie Mauricio, but then walked Brett Beatty before being pulled. So, if you're a left-handed specialist and you're brought in, you got to be able to throw strikes. Otherwise you're going to be facing the 3-batter minimum and you're going to be out just like that. So certainly would be good for Taylor Rogers to be more efficient, throw more strikes, try to get guys out rather than trying to pick away at the corners. But unless the Reds can add a bullpen arm, Taylor Rogers is probably going to be here for a while. But that's why this deadline is so important. And the question becomes, okay, are you trying to, in this, not to derail this conversation, I know a lot of people want to add Eugenio Suarez, right? This is the last year of Gino Suarez's contract. Yes, he's hit 30-plus home runs in the first half of the season. I get that. Yes, he plays solid third base defense. I get that. But are you willing to mortgage potentially future for half a season, 60-something games of Gino Suarez? And are you willing to do that because you think that you can actually compete at the level that you would need to try and compete to advance in the playoffs? And it goes to, I don't remember who I heard talking about this the other day, but the question becomes, are you attacking this trade deadline to try to become a playoff team, or are you trying to attack this deadline to become a World Series contender? Because if you're just trying to become a playoff team, are you really going to go out and mortgage multiple prospects to get a Gino Suarez for 6 months? Or are you going to try and go out and try and target guys who you have control over for multiple years, who can be part of the future beyond this year? I don't know. I think this Reds team has enough pieces that they could potentially compete at a higher level this year. It's just a matter of, is that the mentality of this Reds front office at this point?
Right. We've got guys that have shown the potential. I've even seen somebody bring it up in the chat, and I kind of felt the same way when you were talking about Gino. I would take the upside of a Noelvi Marte over a half a season of what we already know with Gino. Will he keep it up? We don't. There's no way of knowing. So trying to sacrifice and go all in for Eugenio Suarez and breaking the bank with the prospects that you're going to have to give up to get him. It's how hard are you willing to push? And that's exactly where it's at. I mean, it's looking at the overall WAR by position, wins above replacement. We are 26th at third base. So it would be nice to get a little bit more production out of our third baseman. Don't get me wrong, but Noelvi's got to be there on a consistent basis. Stay available. Your best ability is availability. Do we have the pieces? I really honestly think we do. I really think a lot of our nucleus is there. Can we add something to it? Absolutely. I saw a report the other day. If you're planning on winning in the postseason, you're going to win with bullpen and bench player, bullpen and depth, which is not breaking news or shattering news by any stretch of imagination. But if you can go back at a big bat like Eugenio Suarez, then you got Noelvi Marte to be able to mess with. We saw him taking outfield fly balls today and that sort of thing. So it does give you a little bit more what am I trying to say? It gives you a little bit more leeway to play with the lineup and try to put your guys in their best position. But like you say, do you push all your chips to the table? I'm not a big fan of the Suarez part of it just because of the prospects and stuff that you'll have to give up. But Noelvi Marte's got to keep going and keep trending up.
I think that's the challenge, right? We heard today reports that Noelvi Marte is working out in the outfield and taking reps in the outfield, and many people are speculating that that's because the Reds are looking to add a third baseman at the deadline, whether that's Suarez or somebody else. Look, Suarez is making $15 million this year as a 34-year-old. He's hit 31 home runs already. Everybody in the chat wants to say, well, Gino sounds like he might re-sign here. Gino would be open to re-signing here. He said that he wants to play here. There's a difference between a player wanting to play somewhere and being able to agree to a contract that makes sense for them and for the ball club. And I don't know your opinion on this. Gino, at this point, this is his last opportunity in my eyes for a high dollar contract. And he's not going to give the Cincinnati Reds a quote unquote home team discount to return to the Reds in what could be his last big dollar contract. At the age of 34, let me pull it up and confirm here. Actually just turned 34 yesterday. So happy birthday, Eugenio Suarez. But at 34, I'd have to guess that he's going to be looking for a 3 to 4 year contract to take him into his age 38 season. And he's probably going to be looking to mirror that $15 million a year contract. And so for everybody who hates the Jeimer Candelario contract, you're essentially asking the Reds to do basically the same thing with Eugenio Suarez. Now, I believe that Eugenio Suarez is shown enough consistency throughout his career to believe that we wouldn't get a Jeimer Candelario skunk fest out of him if we did sign him to a contract. But nonetheless, I don't personally think that Gino is a fit unless you're making additional moves to try and compete to get to the World Series. You can't look at me at the deadline on July 31st and say your one move was to add Gino Suarez and then some middle bullpen arm and try to tell me you're competing. That won't fly. But if you come and you tell me you got Gino, you got a bona fide reliever, a potential closer, you added another potential bat to the lineup as well, maybe a starting pitcher, I don't know. At that point, I'm all for it. But if you come to me and you say Gino was our big move, that's what's going to put us over the hump. I don't know that I'm willing to mortgage the farm for that.
I mean, I am right there with you, brother. I'm in the exact same boat. It almost bothers me that we're even trying to move Marte and put him in a position that he's not comfortable in playing, and we keep putting infielders in the outfield with Gavin Lux and Santiago Espinal, and now we're moving not Starling Marte, Noelvi Marte. I apologize, but it's just I'm not a fan of putting guys in their unnatural positions. If that's the case, go find us a right fielder that's an actual stick, or a left fielder that we could put in the corner outfield, rather than moving Noelvi to a spot where he's obviously not his natural position anyway. We saw it bite us in the butt a couple different times. Not having the strong arm in left field from Gavin Lux kind of bit us in the arm in the first, or bit us in the butt the first inning today. If he can make us, if we actually had a decent left fielder with a stronger arm, we could actually make that throw in and maybe keep that run from scoring, but instead it gets cut and it's not even a close play at all. And so having infielders in the outfield is kind of rubbing me the wrong way. I'm not going to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you. So if we're going to solidify this team, that's one way we can do it and find actual legitimate outfielders. I was kind of in the same boat with you when I saw the lineup today. Got Gavin. This is nothing against Gavin Lux. Gavin Lux is a professional at bat every time he comes to the plate. So I don't mean for this to sound like I'm coming down on Gavin Lux, but not having Will Benson and actual legitimate outfielders in the outfield, it makes a big difference. I mean, I was kind of surprised that Will's not getting that playing time against right-handed pitching. Yeah. So, I mean, I was kind of with you on that one, but if we're going to start moving guys out of their natural positions to go to another, just get me that other position and keep our guys where they're at, and let's start, moving forward with it. But not sure exactly how you feel about it, feel about that, but I'm with you on the whole Eugenio Suarez thing. There's not much future there as far as what we're going to have in the next couple of years, as far as what you have with Noelvi Marte and the guys that are presently on the roster. You got guys like Sal Stewart, those guys making moves and down in the minors. So we've got pieces there that we can kind of flirt with, and I don't want to mortgage the farm on an older third baseman. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, look, no professional athlete is going to say, well, no reasonable professional athlete, I should say, because we've seen professional athletes do this in the past unsolicited, but most professional athletes are not going to tell the media that they don't want to go somewhere, right? If someone asks you, hey, what do you think about going back to Cincinnati? Their name's been out there in the trade rumors. No one's going to be like, oh, I don't want to go there. Everyone is going to say, yeah, had a great time there. It'd be great to be back in Cincinnati. Loved my time there. We saw the same thing with Kyle Schwarber over the All-Star weekend. Hey, you're from Cincinnati. You're a free agent after this year. What do you think about playing for your hometown squad? Yeah, it'd be great. Every kid dreams of growing up to play for your hometown squad. That doesn't mean that they really expect to play for the hometown squad, or that they're really going to give that hometown squad some sort of discount. At the end of the day, these are professional athletes trying to make money, and their agents are trying to get them their best deals possible. So, at least from my eyes, Kyle Schwarber, Gino Suarez, would be great. I think both of them would be excellent additions to this Reds team. I just don't think it's really realistic at this point to expect either one of them to sign with the Reds after the season, just because over the All-Star break they said, yeah, Cincinnati was great to play, or I grew up in, a Reds fan. There's plenty of players who grew up Reds fans who are not Reds. The Reds made the trade for Ken Griffey Jr. back in the 90s to bring home the Cincinnati Kid. That storybook ending doesn't happen most places, most times. So I'm just keeping my realistic glasses on, not putting my rose-colored glasses on right now. And, it is what it is. Whatever the Reds decide to do on the 31st, I'll be excited for it. But if it's not Gino and it's not Kyle Schwarber, that's okay. We'll certainly see what happens and certainly see what happens in this offseason. But before we get too far ahead, Corey, I did want to remind everyone that they can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health, whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between. It's a 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay. So look, all comments aside about Gino, about Schwarber, I think when we get to July 31st, the Reds are going to do one of two things. I tend to lean one way more than the other, but they're going to do one of two things. One is they're going to go hog wild. They're going to sell the farm and they're going to make a move. And they're going to try and bolster this bullpen. They're going to add bats and they're going to actually make a run for it. What I think is more likely to happen is similar to what we've seen the last couple of years. They'll make 2 moves. Neither of them really get you excited, but hey, they made a move. That player will probably contribute, but it's not going to take them from being a wild card contender to a World Series contender. So I don't think they're going to sell off. I don't think at this point they're going to sell unless something crazy happens over the next 12 days, but we'll see.
I'm kind of there with you. I was reading Charlie's chalkboard that he put out actually during the game, and he was talking to Brad Meter about they're not going to give up every prospect we've got to make a big push, which might be what you're going to have to do to get that big splash name. So you're probably right. It's probably going to be somewhere in a middle tier guy that hopefully can give us a little bit of an edge and make a push to possibly be a playoff team, to do a little bit of damage in the playoffs. Are we going to be a favorite to win the World Series? Probably not. But by the same token, I don't want to give up our prospects and go all in for something than just to lose in the first round of the playoffs, like Trace has brought up before. So there's definitely a fine line there somewhere, brother. And I'm not sure exactly how we push. I think you're right, though. I think it's going to be a couple medium line guys just to kind of fill the gap, say we made a move. Hopefully they contribute. And if they do, it can turn into a fun season. But by the same token, at least they tried something and we didn't give up the farm to get there.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, the trade deadline will be dictated, as always, by what happens over the next 12 days. And, of course, that starts with tomorrow, Corey.
Yes, absolutely. Tomorrow's matchup. What do we got tomorrow? We got the AAA. I'm going to start calling him AAA. That's All-Star Andrew Abbott on the mound tomorrow. So hopefully we can get another good outing from him. He'll be pitching against David Peterson. David Peterson 6-4 with a 3.06 ERA. Peterson's a 5-pitch pitcher. He's got a sinker, a 4-seamer, slider, curve, and change that he relies on. I've got him at 0-1 in 3 lifetime starts against the Reds. We saw him a couple times in 23. They saw him one time in 22. Do have a list of Reds that have actually seen him before, but the guy with the most success against David Peterson be Tyler Stephenson's 2 for 5. Marte is actually 2 for 3. Trevino's 1 for 1. Steer 1 for 1. Friedel 1 for 4. And then Espinal, Lux, Hayes, and Connor Joe are all 0 for lifetime against him in a couple of bats. So it's hopefully it's going to be a good day at the ballpark. We can get our all-star out there rolling again. We've got Brent Suter, who hasn't thrown yet since the all-star break, so he'll be good and healthy if something does go awry. So it's going to set up for a good day at the ballpark, and we're going to have our brooms out. What do you think?
Hey, if you would have told me that the Reds were going to win the series against the Mets, I would have taken it. But now that we're here, we might as well just sweep it. Might as well just take them all, Corey.
That's exactly it, brother. That's exactly it. We do have a Michael Rothbaum over here in the super chats that I do want to get to real quick. 2-part question, and I want to make sure I'm reading this correctly. Which position player says Sands Elly can make the biggest? Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
So which player except Elly can make the biggest difference in the playoff push? And were you both aware that this one just so happens to belong to the Reds? Let's go. Finally, 5 games over 500. So which position player other than Elly makes the biggest difference in the playoff push?
I mean, to me, it's Matt McLain. I think if 9 gets going, man, we're a completely different ball club. I mean, if he looks anything like he did at the beginning of the year with those the first month or whatever it was, those first couple weeks, we're a completely different ball club. So if Matt McLain can get himself right and get going, he was riding a 3-game multi-hit streak coming into today's game, got another hit tonight. So I think Matt McLain might be a spark. We are kind of the middle of our infield and our center fielder. The middle of our field in general is going to be the biggest part of what we've got. We've got to play through Elly. We've got to play through TJ Friedel, who's playing out of his mind. And if we can get Matt McLain going, this ball club is going to be really exciting to watch. What say you?
Yeah, McLain's important for sure, but I'm going Austin Hayes. I think Austin Hayes, the power that he provides in the outfield, the one thing that we knew this Reds team needed this offseason and even during times this season when Austin Hayes was injured was that power right-handed outfield bat. If you can get that power right-handed outfield bat without having to make a move in Austin Hayes, and he can give you 15 to 20 home runs in this second half, I think he can absolutely propel you to the playoffs and even carry you into that. We need him to stay healthy. We need him to continue to produce. Scored 2 runs today. I think he's a guy both physically in terms of driving in runs and scoring, but also emotionally as a team leader and as an emotional leader can definitely help propel this offense to continue to provide runs. So I think Matt McLain's a huge one. I'm going to go Austin Hayes. I also think guys like Tyler Stephenson, right-handed power bat potential, can absolutely do that. And then even guys like Noelvi Marte, if he can give you consistent production, certainly going to be beneficial for you as you head towards the playoff push. But one other super chat, Big Red Machine, still need a right-handed outfield bat. Ramon Laureano is a vet batting .278 with an .898 OPS, cannon of an arm, and is on a 1-year deal with the Orioles. What you think? Here's the thing for me, and it's very similar to the Gino Suarez conversation. It all comes down to what the Orioles are asking for. The Orioles are absolutely going to be in a rebuild mode at this point. Any and all of their vets are going to be on the table, especially ones with expiring contracts. Sure, I'm all for exploring Ramon Laureano. I just don't know what the ask is going to be. And again, if you're not getting a controllable bat, I don't know that the Reds will give up the type of prospects that some of these guys are going to be demanding. And unfortunately, there are teams out there like the Dodgers who are more than willing to part with their top 5 prospects to be able to bring in guys like Ramon Laureano because they know that they can win a World Series this year. And so the challenge that the Reds always have will be realistic price versus what other teams will pay for those guys.
Yep, and that's where our front office has to be a little bit more savvy than say some of those major markets, because once you get into the bidding wars, it's hard to keep up with it. And we're not a sacrifice the farm team because we just don't have the power and the consistency at the major league level to give up everything we've got back there. So I'm kind of with you. Depending on what Baltimore's asking, I'm all for adding a right-handed bat. But like you say, where do you draw the line? So
well, I just looked it up. Ramon Laureano does have a club option next year for $6.5 million. Does that change anything for you?
Yeah, actually, it does. It's not something I want to. I'm sick of the rental players and the treads that we have time in and time out. So if we can actually get to where we've got somebody on a consistent basis that we actually have a chance to have control of for a little bit, that does sweeten the pot a little bit for me. I'll be honest with you. What about you?
Yeah, a little bit, sure. But again, I think the trouble becomes the Reds aren't going to give up a top 5 prospects in order to get him, I don't think.
No.
You know, if the Orioles are going to come in here and try to ask for a Sal Stewart or somebody of that nature, it's hard for me to pull the trigger on that. There are a few names in the top 10 Reds prospects that I would potentially think about being willing to move for the right player. Guys like Chase Petty, guys like Edwin Arroyo. I'd definitely be open to something like that. For me personally, Edwin Arroyo, like the amount of things that have to happen in order for him to become a contributing shortstop on this Reds major league franchise consistently are just because of McLain and Elly. Some of those guys that you have stockpiled in the minors that are middle infielders become kind of expendable for me. So I'm open to those conversations, but will an Edwin Arroyo for Ramon Laureano get the deal done? I don't know.
Right. I'm okay with getting rid of a pitching prospect, or two. I don't want to derail our lineup too much as far as Chase Petty, Chase Burns, that sort of thing. I'm not getting rid of Chase Burns for nothing. He's untouchable as far as I'm concerned. But if it's going to be Chase Petty, the return's going to have to be good. Which having that extra year of control definitely sweetens the pot a little bit. But it's going to have to look real nice for me to want to get rid of Chase Petty. But like you say, we've got some expendable middle infielders that are serviceable and are going to be serviceable Major League Baseball players at some point, but they just find a way to fit into what is a log jam with Matt McLain and Elly De La Cruz being consistent and playing every day up to this point. You know what I mean? So it's like you say, it's hard to find a way in. So if those guys are expendable and we can put together a package, I'm 100% for it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure Nick will have a trade deadline special on the 31st to be able to recap it all.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, getting excited about tomorrow. We're running on a little bit over an hour here. We got 948 people in the chat when I looked up. So thanks everybody for in the chat, listen to me, watching live. We got 948 people watching live. So appreciate every single one of you guys. Like the stream, share, subscribe, tell all your friends. Nick and Trace will be back on here tomorrow night at 9:00, probably talking what's going to be a Cincinnati Reds sweep. If we've got All-Star Andrew Abbott on the mound for a 141st pitch against the New York Mets. So who did I say they were pitching against? I lost.
David Peterson. David
Peterson. So we're going to get a victory over Peterson and get out of New York City with the brooms in our hands. So what do you think, Greg?
Let's get that sweep.
Let's go. As always, go Reds.